Again, we have 7 minutes of presentation time, 3 minutes of Q&A. I'm going to have my little trusty iPhone 10 minutes. And so let me announce the judges in the back. So those are the guys in the dark blue shirts back there. So you all know Joy. You should know Ali and Mike. So, yep. So, and if you didn't know, we have this really cool session called Ask Mike Anything. And you can submit questions through the hashtag SummitAMA. And so if you have like all these tough questions for Mike, you can post it there. Or we're going to also take questions in the audience. But we would love more questions posted to Twitter for Mike to have to be able to answer. So your participation there would be greatly appreciated. So without, one last thing I want to say is, I know it looks small. It's an Amazon gift card, so first place team gets a $100 gift card, and the second place team gets $75. The team members minus the SMEs. Yep. You can blame a Joy. He's the cheap one. Not me. If it was up to me, it'd be $1,000 prizes. But I'm not good with money, and they know it, so they don't let me make decisions like that. So without further ado, yeah, we'll give it a try. All right. Yeah. Okay. So we'll do our best. We're capturing it on film and through GoToMeeting. So without further ado, Team Alpha, take it away.
You want me to use the mic? 7 minutes. You're a slave driver. Okay, 7 minutes. I'm going to go really fast. Team Alpha. It's made up of Victor, Serge, Samuel, and myself. What?
Mic up to your chin.
Up to my chin. I feel like ice cream cone. Okay, look at that. We're starting the clock now, just so you know. We did a project called Acuface that we're going to show you. It's not progressing. Okay. Acuface. What we did was we actually came up with a thesis of how we could do a project to actually prove out a much larger solution using Acumatica XRP. One of the things that us at Jamis have found, we're really into the AWS world these days, and so we're really into using services. Azure, Amazon, they all offer a wide range of services. You don't have to even develop them or even know how to use them anymore, but you could use them to extend the functionality of your solution. We are actually going to use Azure Cognitive Services and show you how easy it was to implement these within the Acumatica platform. Let's go on to the next one. An example, I do have a slide. Make believe you see a slide of Microsoft Azure with their services that they offer. And I also, there it goes.
There's a 30-second delay.
30 seconds, 5 slides, that's already 2.5 minutes or something like that. So here's an example of some of them you could use. We're looking at using a few of these. We're using the Face API today for doing our facial recognition on the Acuface solution. We're also looking at this for some other solutions as well. One of them that we really think is cool is Amazon Lex. I know that last year you saw a demo of Alexa being used with Acumatica. Well, now you don't even need the device anymore. You could actually embed Alexa right into your application. So there's one that we may be doing next year at the Hackathon. Go on to the next slide. Basically what we did, customize the security preferences. We added in some Azure needed logon information for the application to log in. That actually is stored within the security preferences table. All the rest of everything we did is no longer in the database. Within Acumatica, it's all stored on Azure. So when you see the screens and we have to set up what's called face groups, which are the CS groups in the second bullet, or when we actually capture the user and hook the user up to their picture that gets stored away, that's no longer on our system. That's all in the cloud. So it makes the implementation even easier. Just some other practical things that we're looking at. Multi-factor authentication is offered both on Azure platform and AWS. And our customers are killing us for multi factor. OCR for expense receipts. We're actually rewriting our own expense receipt module, and we're actually going to not only take the picture, but use some OCR capabilities to actually fill out pieces of the expense report. And there's some other cool ones. Amazon Lex, I think, is really neat. Go to the next slide. Just so you know who's using some of these services, it's just not, the small guys, it's the big guys that are actually using them. They actually caught on to this way of extending functionality. Netflix, I don't know if any of you realize, Netflix is AWS largest company. I think they use 70% of the AWS bandwidth between 8 and 10 at night. But they use their AWS Kinesis framework for doing video, really cool things being done there. Even UPS uses Azure and some of their bot frameworks. And the list is long. I could go through it all day long, but with only a few minutes. But one of them I wanted to mention, Uber is the biggest user of Face API on the Azure platform. Every single driver has their face on the cloud now, just in case you wanted to know that. We go to the next slide. And question on how much does it cost? And I actually had Samuel do this slide here because it's really cheap. A lot of times it's a per transaction basis, and you could see 0.4 of a penny using Amazon Poly, which is a speech request service that they have. Even down to Azure Face API, it's $1.50 for 1,000 transactions. Plus you pay, I forgot, it's just a couple dollars for 1,000 faces to be stored, because you have to store everybody's face as well. We put it onto GitHub, so anybody that wants it could get it. Do what? Let's go to the demo. Do what? All right, so going over Team Alpha. We even changed, I don't know if any of you realize, it doesn't look that good, but you could put GIFs on your logon screen. It's really cool if you ever want to do something like that. Samuel's going to log in and just show you a few of the quick setup screens.
Where we register the faces.
Yep, let's go there. Oh, there's me. Yeah, that's a good face. So here's Samuel. Actually, we did a quick screen, and if you notice, there's a little bit of a lag because of the internet, but this information that's all on this screen is not actually really stored on this database. It's all stored on the cloud as well. Oh, and see, this over here, this is something we threw in. It's called Acuchat. It's real-time messaging using notifications in the browsers. So let's go and do an approval. So he picks the approval, click approve, and gets his face. It doesn't work if you have a sandwich in your mouth. I want you to know all of that. And then what it does here is it goes out, it's going to Azure, sending the picture of his face, and then when he's approved, it will come back and approve that particular document. And there you see it was approved, completed successfully. There you go. Let's go ahead and refresh. We have a minute left. Let's pick another one and click approve. And let's see if we could get me here. Oh, yeah, but you could be in there too.
Yeah, depending on the...
So let's go ahead and do it this time. Now, I am not, I'm actually in the same work group, but I'm not logged in. My face isn't registered with Samuel. So it's going to come back. It's going to actually recognize me on Azure, and it's going to come back and said, you're not the approver. So it did recognize me as an actual registered user, but that I'm not the approver of the document, so it won't let me do it. There you go. I have 3 minutes for questions. Oh, he asked, what happens if you take your picture with your phone and you hold it up to that? will it actually recognize that it's a phone and not approve it? Any other questions? He's going to do that.
Yeah, I had a question. If he gets approved by the picture, can he approve multiples at the same time?
Yeah. Works just like the regular approval. Okay. You could approve multiples. You could do approve all. Take your picture once. Do one, in case somebody has a question about another.
Yeah. Okay, so
Oh, but you have to move your face out of it. Oh, the real test. Oh, added approved. There you go.
That's the reverse of Ask Mike Anything.
Yeah.
let Mike ask you things. You don't want that.
Okay, we still have a minute and a half, so any other questions? Very cool. What was that chat thing you were
Oh,
talking
that's this little thing here. It's a little icon, and it actually shows you a drop-down of who's online. So let's say admin, pick admin. And you could type in a message. In real time, it will come up on Serge's computer. So you could message back. Our original, the original one that we wanted to do was called Acuchat, to be able to actually have it where you could chat with support. And, I thought it was kind of boring. Yeah, so, but regardless, I thought it was, to really show the power of being able to go out there and start using some of these cool services. I know that we're actually going to be probably looking at doing something with them for multi-factor, because multi-factor is big for us to pass audits. Okay?
Okay, buenos días, bienvenidos al Hackathon. We are just going to introduce our multicultural team. Now, we quickly want to review our agenda. We are going to presentation of our team. Then we want to see our ideas or brainstorm with it. And also the winner idea, and then how it works and the benefits of AP Nashville ideas. So this is our team. It is Tim from Ohio, and Evgeny from Moscow, Michael from Wisconsin, John from New Jersey, Jose from Peru, Carmen from Peru, Jana and Vladimir from Moscow, and Tatiana from Ecuador. So this is our team. So Michael is going to... Oh.
For the second time. So we had a few ideas. One was to extend the Smartsheet integration, the existing one. Another one was to do a bot for a help desk. But what we ultimately decided on was maybe not a real complicated technical one, but for an end user, a useful tool of automating the creation of AP bills from incoming email. So kind of the overall idea here is in Acumatica right now, if you're going to attach a scanned image of an invoice to the AP bill screen, it's kind of backwards. You would open the mail, you would then code the invoice off of that invoice by typing the information into the screen, and then you go do the attachment afterwards. But what we did is change it up where you could open the mail, scan the document in, and then actually do the invoice coding off of the scanned image right there on the screen. So we're kind of switching it around, and then the other advantage here is you can now have this be a mailroom function instead of being an accounts payable function, and then accounts payable is purely living in a digital world. It's kind of the overall idea. So we'll go ahead and walk through the demo now. So there's already a screen in Acumatica in the, I think it's in the communication area, that can show you the incoming email. So there's already, of course, the email integration that Acumatica has. It can read incoming email, and then it actually queues it up inside of this existing incoming email screen. So nothing custom here. But when you've got a list of emails, the idea is you could actually have someone in a paper-based world. They could go over to their copier scanner, Most copier scanners now can scan to email. So you'd set it up to do all the scans to an email address. They'd scan in their documents. It goes and hits that email address. Acumatica reads it in with the regular email functionality, and all the invoices get queued up as emails here in the incoming email screen. That can now be a mailroom function, so the accounts payable person doesn't have to waste their time doing it. And the accounts payable person just comes here and they find out all the invoices that they need to get entered into Acumatica for the day. So they start off with the first one. So I think you got to check it off there first, Mike. So they would check off which one that they want to turn into an AP bill. And then already on this screen, these options up on the top here are already existing. We just added one on the bottom called Create AP Bill. So we'll go ahead and click that. This launches the accounts payable bill screen, but you'll notice something is added on the right. This is a embedded PDF image now. So it took the attachment out of the email, put it right here on the screen, and what's important to note is what Mike's highlighting up on the top. It's not only attaching the email to the record, it's actually attaching the file directly to the record as well. So it's doing two things. It's keeping the email attached to the record in case you want to refer back to it with some extra information, but it's also stripping out the attachment and putting it on the record as well. Then we're showing it in the screen, and at this point, because we've not saved it, the document is still new. I could still close the window down, and it would do nothing. It would not actually attach the email to any records. And so now what's nice here is as an accounts payable person, you can actually do your invoice coding purely off of a scanned image. You're not dealing with paper at all. You can also move that window back and forth in case your monitor, you need more room. You can collapse it right there. You can, even if it's a multi-page document, you would just scroll and you would see the extra pages on the bottom. So it's very nice and easy to work with. It looks modern. It doesn't look clunky like I've been seeing some other systems like Yardi. They've got a function like this. It's really old and clunky looking. This is nice and clean, HTML5. And then when you save it right there, save and close. So this does still rely on a good data entry person. So we might need to hire a new one. It's because he's from Wisconsin, I think that's why. So we save and close there. I think just put an X in there. I think that'll do it. Oh, it doesn't like that. Oh, that's the task, sorry. We've got project accounting on. All right, so we save and close. Now the feature we didn't get to, but we'd like to add on, is as soon as you close out of the window, there's actually an action. Actually, if you could do the action manually there, Mike. I think that's all we're probably going to have time for. If you do the action and do archive, so right now we have 2 emails on the list. We just archive the 2 emails and they drop off the list. So the extra feature we didn't get to would be as soon as you save and close, it would automatically archive the email so that you know it's off of your queue. So now as an accounts payable person, I can work off of a queue of digital invoices and never have to touch paper. You can push that scanning functionality down to the mailroom. Do you want to hit like maybe 1 minute? We got like one more minute of it.
Yes. We provided several experiments and measured our results. So our results were quite good. We've got really 20% time saving. So it means, you see here, that total saving, it's 2 hours and 0.33. So it means that by changing this process, we save our time and we save money. And we save $2,805. This saving was calculated by the salary $20 per hour. And what we also wanted to add that by changing the process, we can hire less salary professional. It means that his salary will be $50 per hour. And as being an HR, I must mention that we will have two happy sites. We will have happy employee and happy employer. Happy employee because he will, his work will be automated and he will have more time for his his additional job, and happy employer by saving money. And so now we are ready for your questions.
Value-based pricing, I think we do on this one. So if you close the window without saving the record, I'm actually not sure. What happens to the file? I don't think anything happens. Do we know? So it's actually, the important note here is we figured out, or not we, you guys figured out how to not push it into the database, because normally you need a record to attach the file to. It's actually sitting in the graph, something, but in the screen. It's that the file doesn't get put to the database until you save it. So that's what would happen. But being able to still see the file was a key component of it. Being able to see the file without it actually existing in the database took quite a bit of time. Does this require an independent scan of every invoice? Yes, but I think a lot of copier scanners had the feature where it can split every page to a separate scan. So what you would do is just take most of your invoices, which would be one page, do those first, run them through the loader. It will generate separate invoices, at least from what I've seen most copier scanners, separate emails, and then you could do a separate one for the multi-page invoices. Yes, like barcodes or something and it knows. Yeah, that's another way. But that's all on the copier scanner. So the kind of the use case for this one was paper, where you're going to go to the scanner. But yes, there's a way to extend it. And actually, I'm sorry, I forgot to point out a very key component to this. Sorry, guys. Oh, man. So they also figured out an OCR way. I didn't even point it out on the screen, but when that invoice got saved, the vendor was automatically filled in. And if it could not guess the vendor, then the vendor was empty.
As a like into the vendor database based on the vendor name. So we're looking for, we parsed the whole PDF and we looked for matches to the vendor name. If it matched up, it came through into the AP invoice. If it didn't, it was left blank to then be entered by the accounts payable clerk.
All right, so we're Team ETA, which is a very small and yet mighty team here. We had Terry, Simon, and myself, Steve Awanowski. And we talked about doing, our big picture idea was basically to have a customization marketplace, or another fancy word for an app store. So when we were thinking about that, we were trying to figure out why we don't have an app store yet. And really it comes down to there's no way of enforcing a license. There's no way of kind of guaranteeing revenue. So what we decided to do was basically add that mechanism. So we have license enforcement for customization projects. So how it will basically work is we have a server and a client piece. And what we have on the in the project itself is we add a little bit of code for authenticating the user and a URL to phone home to make sure the license is valid. And then we have on the server side, we have an administration page to create the license, assign it to a user, or contact, I should say. And then on the client side, we have it set up so it can, the customizations will phone home, and if the license is not valid, it will kill the customization. They can't use it. So that's. Oh,
Can I just say something about? Yep. So basically, this is an example of a customization project. So it's pretty simple, but as you can see, the only thing you need to do is actually to inherit, instead of the PX graph, you inherit from the PX license graph. and you specify your project information at the bottom with a class like that, and that's it. The project itself will contain all the information you need to get the license. So this is for the technical part.
Yeah, so what you would do is you create your customization project as usual. You'd add that snippet of code in there. And then on the server side, basically you will generate a license key. And here we have it. You can give it an ID, and you can pick right there, you can pick the customer and the contact right there. So as a side effect, you're actually getting a nice record of all the customizations you have out there, who they're actually being used by. So here we have this license key here on the server side. So then in real life, you would take this key would be sent to the customer, or if you're probably installing the project yourself, you would install the project and then give them this key. And then if we switch to the customer side, we added a screen for customization licenses for the client to activate. So you can see here we can have multiple projects. We have multiple customers with multiple products. We handle all that very well. So here we have, in this for example, we have 2 customization projects. So we're going to have one with a valid license and one without. So go ahead and you can assign the key here.
Maybe show the broken.
We want to show it first? Okay. Well, I figured we show. All right. So what we have here, so now we have both, neither one have a valid license. So we're trying to connect to them now, and it looks like there's the ASP names, but you can see here, it does say the customization requires a license. So it stops them from even getting into it at all. So now if we go back to the client side, we can assign the license key to it. And then what it'll also do is use the contract API to phone home to look up that, basically installation ID, and then look at the license key and make sure it matches. If it matches, we get an is valid there, maybe. Validate. All right, maybe that copy. No, it took it. Okay. Okay. Forgot to collect the money. There it goes. So now it marked as valid. And we also have a validation date in there. So the idea is we actually could have like a sliding window where it would phone home every 7 days to make sure that you're on subscription or you still have a valid license. So now if we go back to the client side and refresh the page, you see our super sexy customization there. And the other one is still broken, by the way, so which is good. It's supposed to be. Any questions? Yes, sir. Yeah, so who we thought would benefit would basically be people that would make customizations, so mostly ISVs and VARs. So, yeah. What do you mean? Yes, right. Yeah, and the idea behind this is it's all generic, so it's just a tool set inside Acumatica, so anybody with Acumatica could do it for their customers as well. Yep.
No, this is a separate screen. Actually, this one just goes through your website and goes through your website and just finds all your customization that you have, and it's going to bring that into the customization license screen. And from there, you just input your key and validate, and that's it. No, you publish your customization first, but they're not going to work. Yeah, exactly. So basically, this was Terry's idea that we started from, and I know that Terry's wanted to add some scrambling of the source code so that it cannot be extracted. So for now, even the credentials, are hard-coded because we missed some time, especially with only 2 developers. But there was a lot more I wanted to do about that, so securizing the connection and everything. But for now, no, it's pretty basic, just restricting you from using the customization. We didn't try. Yeah, sorry. Ruslan was asking about multi-tenancy for this project. We didn't do anything special about that. Well, yeah, this is probably something we could add. I mean, the customization, the license customization itself is just standalone. So we could probably add those validation when we're requesting from the license server. So we could pass probably a company ID and everything. So this could be improved upon. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, everyone, can we hear me? We're good? All right, we're Team Delta, and we are Brendan, Doug, Glenn, Emery. Our Acumatica person is it Nyan? Did I say that right? Close? Okay. And I'm just on. I'm just on, and we're Team Delta. Perfect. We're Team Delta. All right, so what we did is we built blanket sales orders. And the reason we did this is because this is requested functionality on the Acumatica feedback page. So we thought, wait, let's build it. People are asking for it. Let's see what we can do with it. So I'm just going to walk right through a demo of what that looks like. So if we just go into our sales order, open up a new sales order, and essentially what was done is they built a order type that is blanket order. So without walking through an entire, step-by-step of how all this is going to look, you're going to essentially fill this out to what the blanket order would contain. So in our case, Alphabet School Center, which has had a recent influx of cash, is going to be ordering a few things. So this being the blanket order type, all we have to do here is add the inventory that is included in that blanket order. So in this case, they're going to order some Acer laptops, and their blanket order is for 50 of them. Okay. And then they also have, because creativity, arts, and expressionism is really good for schools to have, they're going to have 500-piece Lego set. So let's do that. And the warehouse we're going to pull these from is going to be the same one, so it's both going to be the retail one. And they're going to have 20 on that one. Okay. So this looks good. Make sure. And now our... Just kidding. Did that organize itself? Bloop. All right. Where's it at? Is it good? Do I want to fill that out? Is it okay? Can I just override that or anything? Is it good? We're going to try that again. Having changed nothing. At least one error. Oh my gosh. Branch. Is it because of a different user? Say what? Log back out, log in? Okay. We're going to do that then too. This was also part of the functionality that we're going to address in a later release. Okay. All right, we got it. Just like we planned, everyone. Okay. So, actually, no, it's not. Can we do one that's open? Here we go. I'll just add another line to this. Yeah, we're good. Okay, we're going to just go ahead and use one that's open and already established because I forgot my password, because that's what good people do. And we're going to go ahead and add, again, that 500 Lego piece set. So what you're seeing on this one is just a one we did earlier. It still has the laptops on it. We're going to add the 500-piece Legos to that. Lego, as I understand it to be. No S. We'll go ahead and do that. And save it. And perfect. Okay. So now our thank you, guys. Thank you. That's it. Thank you all. All right, so the blanket order is built. Let's go ahead and place a sales order against this. So if we go back into sales orders, it's just a new sales order. The blanket is established, so now we're going to place this against it. So what you're going to do is you're going to select the same customer that the blanket order is there for. That's one. And all that stuff populates where we want it. That's enough. And now you're going to add your blanket order. So here, okay. All right, so let's go ahead and select this one because it's showing that on the blanket orders available for this client, we have 20 available Lego piece sets to go for. So what you didn't see happen, and let me see if I can just, it's just a quantity. We're only going to order 10 for now. This is their first scheduled purchase of the Lego, and there's going to be 10 of these. So we're going to save. Oh my God, that brain's sitting again. If I override that, is that going to be a problem? Okay. Is this going to break everything? Okay. He's going to do things that are intelligent because I can't click through anything apparently, in addition to not remembering a password. But what you would have seen there is in our blanket order, we had two lines, one for the laptops, one for the Lego. The laptops didn't come available when we added the blanket order because we've already ordered the entire quantity against that, which means that it's not available to place a sales order against because on the blanket order, those are already all ordered. There's none available for it. Yeah, he just kindly, under his breath, said, "I need to remember my password next time," and he's not wrong. He's not wrong. All right, perfect. Right now, we're going to show you just how fast this is going to work. So we're going to build a quick one, just exactly the steps that I did before, but this time in my profile instead of his. And what we're going to show you on this one is when we place an order against this, how it will diminish the quantities and connect it back to it. Perfect. And what Brendan's doing here is he's just building, again, like we did, we're building a sales order against the blanket order, which has 2 items in it. Perfect. All right. So now we can populate these both. Now we see that the quantities on these populate automatically to the highest available. So in this one, we have quantity 20 and quantity 50 on those. Let's keep the 20 on the Legos. We're going to order all those right now, but we're only going to order 20 laptops that go with that. So save it. And then what you're going to see here, there we go. On this, when we refresh it, it's going to pull. Since we already issued a sales order against this, what you should see happen now is that the open quantity for the Lego is all diminished because that sales order is being issued, and then the open quantity for the laptops is down 20 because that's what we're going to order on that one. So now we're going to go ahead and create a shipment. That's exactly what we want to do. Okay, that looks great to me. I love it. Okay, so now our shipment's created, and if we go back to this and refresh it, what you're going to see happen now is that the quantities are on shipments. Oops, did I go on the wrong one? I didn't. Okay, so it already pulled some of these out on shipment. And what I need to do now is make sure that, confirm that. Okay. Now we go back over here, and there we go. And now it pulls out automatically those quantities for that. So now if we go and we issue a new sales order, go back through here, we're going to order against that for a final order against the blanket, and it's going to show you that what is now available for that is pulling live. So what you see, because we already ordered all the Lego off of that one, which is this line right here, it can't give me any more of the Legos to pull. So this is from a previous order, but on this one for blanket order 6, it only populates with the open quantity of 30 remaining against the blanket order. So I think that covers the functionality we wanted to, give or take. Sorry about all the stops and starts. I'll leave it open now for any questions. Thank you. Yes. Against this one, you can only pull against the blanket.
Well, you can combine different ways. You can add to it, so you can pull from the blanket, add to it. You can actually create multiple blankets and pull multiple blankets onto a single order. So you can do a combination of things. Yep. No, it's not gonna auto. The question was, did you implement expiration logic? We didn't do any like auto closing or anything like that. We wanted to, if we had time, implement a way to set the order ship dates and also create the orders from the blanket based on a shipping schedule, but we didn't have time for that. Anything else?
Okay. So we are Team Epsilon. We've got Ricardo and Fernando from Skynac, and then Diane, myself from Savant, and our sponsor is Deeren. So we decided that we wanted to take the e-sign functionality that uses DocuSign and Adobe, and then do an extension on that to make it more efficient. So we're going to walk through the old way, the existing way, and then we're going to walk through the new way with our changes. Okay?
Correct. You can see my screen, right? All right, so it's good to be here. So let's do the demonstration, the current demonstration that is available for eSign. So what we're gonna, as Diane mentioned, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be comparing the current version against the quote-unquote improved version. So we have this previously created sales order 4097. So let's go through the whole process. First thing we'll have to do, we need to print this sales order. So that is step number 1. We should be exporting this PDF. Let's place that in the desktop, step number 2. So we should be going back to the sales order, and let's attach that to 4097, which is the one that we had used. There we have it. So step number 3, we are attaching the PDF. And next step would be going to the file maintenance option within Acumatica. And we can see the file here, and we can press on eSign. And we go through the whole process of setting the subject. In this case, let's say sales order. And if you notice, we are unable to identify what is the sales order number. We have really no idea here. So let's just place these interrogation marks, set some message. So we've got the message ready. We have to save. And send. So I lost count. Oh, well, actually, we haven't finished. Let's go with the next one, which is in the DocuSign interface, we need to identify the document prior to sending this. So we've got the signature symbol in the bottom, and we can just proceed and send. All right, so we're going to make Diane presenter for 1 second.
This is all the existing functionality, and what it does then is it sends an email to the person who needs to do the signing. That part we didn't change, it's just the same process. And so you can see on my email, I just got one, sales order question mark, and I can go in and review the document. And I'll just quickly go through and sign it just to finish the process out. All right. So that is the working front to back process. Now we'll go back and look at the new way.
So I kind of lost count of the number of steps. I think there were about 6 or 7. So wouldn't it be cool if we could reduce that? So let's say something like 3. We could give it a try to 3. How about 2?
Maybe. That would be better.
Let's make it in just 1 step. So let's go to the sales order page. Let's select this next cell. So you can see the attachment up here. So let's select a new one. And no attachments yet. You're ready to be processed. So we have this new option embedded in the actions dropdown. And we have this option sent for e-signed. Let's press on that. So it's completed. So just to be sure, let's go one more time to Diane's computer, and let's take a look at the email that we just received.
All right, so here we go. Oh, sorry. So here we go with our next one, and we've got an actual nice subject that specifies the sales order number, and also has a little detail here about thank you for your business and whatever we want to put in there. And I can still do the same reviewing of the document and signing all of the same way we had before. But it's much more streamlined.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way that we are rating this, and this is, I promise this is the final switch. Let's go back to my side. No more fooling around. What's that? Yeah, no. So real quick, under notification templates, we have created this one, and this is where the information is being read from in the email that we just saw in Diane's computer. And we are defining this notification template during the order type definition. We can see it right here at the very bottom. So this is the e-sign notification ID, which is at this moment linked to SO. So one final part of the demonstration, if we're still good on time, Mark? Awesome. So this is very cool, but how about if we can do this in bulk? Because doing this individual is going to take quite some time. So let's go to page 50102000. This is Acumatica Sprint email orders page, and we have included a new option in the dropdown, which is send for e-sign. So let's set this as SO. And let's say it's from today. So let's go to the final page. We had tried with, don't recall, I think we used 97 and 98. Just to be safe, let's just select these 3 last options. Let me zoom out a little. All right, still selected, and let's process. So right now what is going to be occurring is that Diane's going to be receiving 3 emails, 1 per each sales order, and she will go through the same process that we just saw before. Well, and take our word for that, unless we don't need to switch back. So basically each email is going to be associated to each sales order. So that is our presentation. Just one final remark. What we found very convenient about this idea is that something that can be provided to the customers almost immediately. As soon as it's uploaded to the GitHub, they can simply download this and make use of it. And it can be easily extended to other pages like PO, contracts, or basically any other document that may require a signature and reduce that to a single step. For instance, in the sales order, we just created a new action, and in that action, we're invoking the method that is in the eDocusign template. Not the template, the interface where the envelope gets created as well as the recipients get defined and so forth. What we would be doing is that in the case of the purchase order, for instance, we'd be using the corresponding PO report. In this case, we're using the SO report, and that should be the only difference. The rest of the steps would be practically copying and pasting. You mean for the number of signatures in the document? Yeah, good question. In this case, we're relying on DocuSign's anchor option, where you can associate that to a specific string. Right now, we have a string in the report that is not visible in the interface, but it is legible by DocuSign. So right now, we are just using the one signature, but that could be accommodated to any other elements using their corresponding string.
Yes, that's true. We didn't change anything there.
Thank you.
All right. Can you guys hear me okay? We're Team Gamma. Dilly dilly. Oh, let's do that again. We're Team Gamma. Dilly dilly. Oh, that's kind of weak. Team Gamma, please raise your hands. We have a fantastic team. Thank you. I'm just going to give a quick overview. My name is Mark Minot, and then Marco's going to do a demo on our solution. The problem that we're after is that we are enabling for example, a compliance officer to stay in touch with key critical change in data. So a good example would be a compliance officer on like a class 3 DEA drug, and then there's a adjustment in inventory. There could be other key changes in data, whether you're a CFO or et cetera. What we developed was a bot that uses the push notifications of the Acumatica platform. And what we're going to demonstrate is how that works. So when there's a change in that generic inquiry using push notifications, it will update the bot service, and those bot channels can be multi-channels. The biggest benefit to what we're providing here is that you've got the capability to be aware of data that's changing, not be within Acumatica, and then take advantage of any of the actions that are exposed in that graph via the generic inquiry.
Thanks, Mark. So let me switch over here. I'll do a quick update of the parts that we worked on. So basically, we are taking advantage of the different tools that Acumatica has, like push notifications and generic inquiries, and we are connecting a bot framework to those endpoints. So we're going to be testing here locally with a web conversation, but actually this can be extended to any other channels like Skype or Slack or Twilio for SMS notifications, Telegram, and other available channels. So the way to start this notification is to actually add the bot to your conversation. So you just search for it or get a link and add it to your user. I'm already connected to the conversation, so I'll just say hi to the bot. And did you get to see it? Should I I'm not sure if I can do some function, but I just said hello to the bot, and it's telling me that it's ready and listening. So I'll ask him about what he can tell me about. Okay, I'm typing it. What notifications can you send? So it's just a quick question, and the engine will connect to Acumatica and get a list of all the generic inquiries that it can subscribe to. So this will let me know when the different options. So we have set up some notifications, and it's giving me some options. So I could just click on one of these options, or I could actually write the option that I want. So for example, I could click here, notify me about shrink adjustments, but I could also write it. And so it's replying me back. And this actually connects to Acumatica. Let me show you. And it's telling me my subscription is named CQ Shrink Adjustment 299. So back in Acumatica, there's a push notification here. And, well, we have different tests that we have done. Let me just refresh it so it shows up. And we'll see that the new notification is set up. And so now Acumatica is watching that, should be around here, 299, right here. So it's watching for any changes in the data that it's reported by that generic inquiry. And the bot actually saved the contexts, so it knows which user he should notify. So any user can set up notifications for the things that they need to know about. And well, during the short time, we just set up this quick notification, so we can actually work about the different, this is just a quick demo of how the notification arrives. So right now, there's a change in the data, and it just interrupts me and says, well, excuse me, the user, but you asked me to notify you when there were updates in Acumatica. So Mark has created a shrink adjustment on that date for your inventory item AA computers in retail warehouse. 5 items have been written off, and the new quantity on hand is 10. The reference number of the adjustment number is 4078. So that's all for now. So I got the notification, and this works with any of the channels that we activate on the bot framework. So you could be on the road and just be updated about the different things that you're interested about. And so that's a demo.
Good job.
Questions? Well, it's pulling data to let you know what you can subscribe to. But once you subscribe, actually Acumatica is sending the push notification. So it's totally asynchronous, and it just depends on when the changes happens, it lets you know. And so Acumatica is calling a callback to the bot framework, and the bot lets you know that something changed. And so a way to expand this, and we would like to keep working on this, is to actually make it more conversational. So the bot actually asks you, okay, so you want to know about shrink adjustments. This is the information that's available. And what would you like to know, for example? And you can say, well, when quantity goes below 5, okay, and it will save that state, and it'll only let you know when that happens. Okay, any more questions? Mhm. Yes. Another thing we talked about is since we are using the available functionality and we already have the reference to the generic inquiries, we can get the reference to all actions related to those objects. So it would be easy. The same way that the bot asks you about the different options it has for generic inquiries, it can tell you which actions are available for that item once it has notified you. So it would be quite easily just to add those actions and have it act upon those actions. Thank you.
Okay, hi everyone. We are Team Beta, and next week will be Team Go Live. So we're going to show you our project, which was to connect Acumatica with FreePBX. FreePBX is a GUI for Asterisk, which is an open source VoIP server. So the idea was to connect Acumatica with a VoIP server and then with the phone that's connected to that VoIP server, which is over there at our table. That will come into play. And because we're the last group, we have some audience participation just to keep everyone kind of engaged and involved. Okay, so we were doing Acumatica and FreePBX. That was an idea that was given by one of our team members, and we viewed this as kind of an entry point for connecting Acumatica with the Internet of Things. Connecting the server and the phone, we thought it was sort of one instance of connecting it to all these devices that are out there in the Internet of Things. So if you think about temperature sensors, bells, outlets, all the things that are connected to the internet now. In our case, we were connecting to a Raspberry Pi that's running FreePBX. That was the particular use case. But you could imagine this for things, so call tracking was our use case, but you could think about things like visitor approval or, punch in, punch out if someone pushes a device, connecting that to a time card. Inventory management if you need to monitor inventory, or even things like food manufacturing if you picture temperature sensors. And of course, our end goal that we brainstormed was something called AcuNet, which we think we want to launch involving artificial intelligence. Although you could help us think through whether that's a good idea. Okay. Yeah, just a few short. Yeah, that's right. So our team, there's Sergey, who was our sponsor, Kazval, who's over there, and it was the guy who had the idea for this, and then Logan, Annie, Jeremy, and I'm David, and then there's our Raspberry Pi. Okay, so FreePBX, just quickly, it's an open source GUI on Asterisk, which is an open source web server that runs on Linux. And what we wanted to do was connect to the contacts in Acumatica, connect that to FreePBX, and then the phones. And the use cases we had in mind, we came up with 3. One is if you have an existing contact in Acumatica call in on the phone, we wanted to pass through the phone number coming into the phone to look up the contact in Acumatica, then pull up the contact record, create a new incoming call activity, and then return the account CD to FreePBX for caller ID. So you see there, that's the account CD on the caller ID coming out of Acumatica. Our second idea or use case was for outbound calls. So what we did, I'm not going to show this, but we added an extension and then the SIP credential. That's how you log into the PBX server for each employee, so each employee could have a distinct extension. And then you'll see there's an action next to phone number fields in Acumatica so that you can just call that number. And then we also, every time you click that, it creates an outgoing call activity for each of those calls. And then for both incoming and outgoing calls, we wanted to have reports. So you could, with all this data, you can pull into a generic inquiry or a report, show one of those too. And then the final use case is, what if there's no match? What if it's a new phone number calling in? We want Acumatica to recognize that and then create a new contact record, pull up a new contact record so that you can add that person in. Okay, enough about that. I think we're going to move in and do a demonstration now. So let's see. Oh, what do you know? Someone is calling us. In fact, it's Logan Griffel. So Logan called in with his phone number there. It pulls up, and you'll see it creates a new inbound call activity, which and he's going to pull up and make some notes about how that works. This is exciting. And then you could do whatever you want to do, whatever you actually needed to do. Now let's do, okay, so let's say that you missed something and we need to call Logan back. I think we need to maybe try that again. Yeah, we need to try that. This is the part that's the Raspberry Pi. There we go. Oh, there you go. Okay, so we're calling Logan, and we're going to make another note with the activity that pops up along with that. There's also, so this is our generic inquiry, our sample generic inquiry that we did here, where we're logging all of these if you wanted to see these phone calls. Okay, and then the last piece is for a new contact. This is where we need the audience participation. So who wants to call us? Can I get a volunteer to call? Okay, Ollie. Let me give you a number. What's that? Okay.
One idea was to be able to send incoming calls to people direct to their extensions.
Okay.
We did this with free PDFs, but
Here we go. We've got a new contact. So we type that in, and the phone number is saved in there too. So you can add them to whatever you wanted to. Yeah, there you go. We really quickly, we did want to show, we had a few more ideas for how to extend this eventually that we thought would be, if we had more time. We thought, there's that email icon in the email field that just pops out an email. We thought it'd be cool to have a call icon where you could just press that and it would call the person for any phone field in Acumatica. One idea was to be able to send incoming calls to the owner of that contact directly right to their extension so that they would be the one picking it up. Again, we did this for free PBX, but it's a concept that could be applied to other VoIP services and extended to other VoIP services. And then Sergei's idea was to be able to replace reminders with the Signal R notifications.
With a request together, right? So with the thing that we did with the pop-up windows, we used the Signal R push notifications. Like that's the most popular feature on this hackathon, I think. And we use this because when we create an activity, the notification is triggered and we pop up a window. So window is nice, but most probably you can work with other activities when someone calls you. So what we want to do, we want to replace our reminder with this thing. So and then in this case, you don't need to wait for the next request or next button to have a reminder. So whatever happens in Acumatica, we will have some sort of notifications. And moving forward, we can actually have all the types of notifications using the reminder, not only calls, but other things, the approvals, other documents, incoming emails, and so on and so forth. So like nice thing to have, a nice glimpse into the future.
Okay, questions?
So I assume this also would work without like a headset. You could just plug your headset into your computer without even having like a physical phone.
Yeah.
So we did use a hardware phone, but it is possible to connect a software-based phone to the free PBX. So like Zoiper is a program that you can run on your computer and plug it in with a headset. Yeah. So the free PBX is just an asterisk server, so it connects any phones to it.
So as I mentioned, it's a push notifications. We subscribe to Signal or Harp from the user interface, but yes, you need to be logged in because it's a sensitive information and contact. You can see contact only if you have appropriate rights, so you need to be logged in. So we can get right now phone and name. So name if it's provided by the telephony company. So another, just as an idea, we have not implemented this, but actually it's good to measure the time for the call. So from start to end, and this we can get, but not now, not yet. That's a question to Kosław.
Could you capture the voice?
Like a recording? Mm-hmm. I believe there are modules available for free PBX with voice recognition, but it also can do recording, so you can record the call and then it would be possible to write something to look up those calls later.
So if I'm thinking about calling Sergey, will it just call?
Were you thinking about it? No. No.
You can use the face recognition to read it through your face.
Call Mary. We'll license it for you. You know what you should do? You should do the face recognition to do the call, use yours to make the call, and use the DocuSign and send the same call at the end. The Hackathon project. This is awesome, guys.
Yeah.
And one more question. Did you use the Hardware phone?
What's that? Can you repeat the question? The hardware connected to the Raspberry Pi? Mm. Well, we used Raspberry Pi for the server. So the free PBX, it's a Linux distro, so it can run on any kind of server platform. And then the phone itself, we used a hardware SIP phone, but you can do a software SIP phone running on an Android or an iOS app. But it still has to connect to a server for the phone push.
We have a client already.
Yeah, our good news. Right, that was our good news. Is that this is Caswell's going to take this back and push it live next week. But yeah, I mean, I think it's available in the GitHub.
That is the way to contact for like actually.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to thank everyone again. We're going to take about 5-10 minutes to do the judging. So stick around to see if you won. Again, we're going to pick the top 2 teams. The first place team will get $100 gift certificate each member. And second place will get a $75 Amazon gift certificate each person as well. And we'll do a group photo. And we'll be off. So thank you very much.
All right. Mike, where's Mike? I got a mic here. I want the other mic. Excellent. All right. Well, first of all, big thanks to all of you. Right? You've taken a lot of time on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, to be here. I know some of you had to make travel plan changes because you didn't realize it was actually starting on Saturday. We can't thank you enough for that. So big round of applause for just that. And this is the 3rd time we are doing this hackathon. We started this at the last summit. It was actually probably 1/3 the size of this room. Pretty packed room, but we had fun. It was supposed to be a 4-hour hackathon. I think we were there at like 1:30 a.m. in the morning, just laughing out loud, right? It was so many hilarious moments in looking at the projects and so on. And then we also did an internal hackathon over the summer. And that was fantastic, a lot of interest, and I think that's continued to grow. And then this is the second public, partners and customers, attendees participating in. I think we have started, this is a trend. I think we're going to see this community growing. The intent of this is obviously looking at all the creative ideas. I mean, look at the diverse set of ideas we've got, from PBX to signing to custom package licensing to sales order, blanket sales order. I mean, it's unbelievable. There are all kinds of interesting bots and Face ID. I think I mentioned all of them by now, right? So that's the strength of these type of events, right? Ideas that we won't be thinking about when we're sitting and working on products, and ideas that you'll be thinking about interacting with your customers. So I think the true spirit of Hackathon is completely exhibited in an event like this. So I want to thank you for that. So before we announce the winners, Mike or Ali, anything you want to add?
Yeah, so you guys are the ambassadors, right? For us, the technology and the platform that we have is our power, and you guys are the minds that can use that power for our customers and partners that are technologists. So what I like to kind of encourage everyone to do is help us keep building this community. I mean, the projects that are on GitHub, they can't survive without you guys, right? So take the opportunity, go up there, put some of these projects up, encourage your colleagues to, fork the projects. I love to see, how somebody took the e-sign and built on top of it. So lots of solutions that you guys brought on are real solutions. I mean, that's the difference between, I think, this hackathon versus the last one. I think some of the things that you guys actually have can be used next week by many, many partners. So don't let it just die. Take the ideas, keep building on them, and share, and let's keep it going.
Okay, it's a little bit shame for me to see the ideas that you suggested as in many ways a product deficiency and something.
So no prizes for anybody.
And effectively something like that I see that we want to do for many years, but unfortunately our development resources are kind of restrained. And I think it's a great opportunity to contribute to the development, come up with a prototype, and essentially given ideas for our developers and ourselves how the things can be done. And it's in some cases not so difficult to do. And of course there is a big difference between something that you do within a couple of days and something that you put into production, but it's very encouraging to see, and thank you very much for participation.
Instant messaging.
Andrew was arguing for making the instant messaging for probably 3 years now.
Who's counting, right? All right, so hey, one last thing to echo what both Mike and Ali said. This is a community, right? And I said this at the last hackathon for some of you that were there. This is the start. This is not the end, right? So one of the things that I would love to see that this community kind of staying together. Mark's going to facilitate some conversation on a regular rhythm and so on. But I think doing the projects on GitHub, but also staying active in the forum. I mean, we are a growing community, lots of questions coming in. I mean, you guys are experts now, right? I mean, you can just proudly go out and say, you know what, we did something in like less than 24 hours. It's not something that's very easy to do. So I continue to participate in the forums and whatnot. Write blogs, do videos, help out each other. I think we're all in it together, and we totally appreciate your support. So with that, let's get into the awards. Yeah. All right. So one quick change. When we did the scoring and whatnot, Mike gave zeros to everybody. He said that's all product deficiency, bugs, right? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Instant messaging, he said -20. Right? So what we decided, because the scores were so close and the ideas were so phenomenal, we're actually going to choose 3 winners instead of first and second. We're going to do first, second, and third. Okay? All right, so, sorry? All right, drum roll, please. Somebody do the drum roll. There you go. Team number 3. Team number 3, that's actually third place winner. Team Epsilon with the e-sign solution. Come on up. Come on up. No, it's only 3. Yeah, we have it. So Duran doesn't get the gift card, so make sure he doesn't snatch one from you guys. All right, come on up. Just get and then stand for the photo, please. So, Yep, just stand. All right. Fernando, come on in. Yep, okay, I'll give it to Diane and then Ali to Fernando. There you go. All right. Let's, okay, all right. Let's part of the team. All right, thank you so much. Great job, Epsilon. Great job. All right, second place winner. Team Alpha. We need to verify your Face ID before we can give you the gift card.
Is this because we did instant messaging too?
Excellent. That's why you're second. Congrats, guys. Congrats. All right, so the gift cards are here. I think only 3 non-employees, I think. There you go, Ali. All right. Pass it on. Oh, Joe. Victor. There you go, Victor. Here's your gift card. All right, time for pictures. Awesome. Okay, now for the first place winner. Seems like there's customer already waiting to use this in production. That would be Team Beta. Okay, so that's it for Hackathon 2018. Really, again, appreciate all the time and effort and hard work. We'll see you in the summit, obviously, next few days, and then the training, and of course, in the community the rest of the year. So with that, don't forget your T-shirts. We don't want to take it back home. So please grab one. And if you have team members, that are Acumatica lovers, everybody's, right? Grab T-shirts for them as well. And we'll see you, tonight, tomorrow, this week. Have a great summit.